Hi everyone, I am live again doing my On the Couch series. Today we have Annette Houston from FM Services Group. So I'm super excited to speak to her, find out about her business and everything that keeps her going, keeps her motivated. I've known her for I don't even know how long now, years, and I'm always really motivated by everything she's doing. She's such a go getter. She is got like all different sides to her business, and I know she is big into keeping fit as well, which is something I like to do. So I'm excited to hear about that as well. She's just joined us, so I'm going to pop her in here. And if you can only see,
Hello.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
Grand. Last week when I did this, you could only see my chin, so I'm hoping you can see my whole face this time.
I
Someone
was.
messaged me was like, "It's fine. You've good bone structure anyway, and it's all with you, so it's fine. It's all good."
That's not
How's
so bad.
things?
Yeah, not too bad. I was kind of. This is my first time. I'm very old. This is my first time on Instagram Live, so I was like, "How does this work? How do we do this?"
You know
Um,
what? This is my third time on Instagram Live. I'd actually never did live. Well, I think no, I don't think I've ever done a live or a live even with someone. So I think we freak out when when we say live because we're like, oh no, what if I curse or what if I do something or say something wrong?
mhm.
But like, we're just having a conversation. Be all good.
But hopefully I'll not swear. It's like
Well, you
live.
can if
You
you
are
want. I
live.
don't think I don't really care. It's fine. So tell me about, well, your business and then maybe the break-off bits in 60 seconds if you can.
Sure. Okay. Well, the business is FM Services Group, and essentially that consists of three other businesses inside that. So
Mm.
we have FM Services, which has industrial cleaning and facilities management, pest control, hygiene, industrial cleaning, all of that sort of stuff. And then we have Cleaners in a Click, which is like a residential maid service. That's the second part.
Cool.
And then the last part is Bride Academy. So that's the newest bit. And it is probably about 2 years old now. But it's busy. It's very busy. All cleaning related businesses. So everything that we're doing is related to the cleaning sector or,
Yeah.
that type
And
of
is
business.
Bright Academy like teaching cleaning owners and businesses how to run the business?
Yeah, it started off that way. We were looking at cleaning skills. We went looking to purchase cleaning training, like online cleaning training for our own team, and we couldn't find it anywhere. So we thought, right, well, if we're having this problem and we're a fairly big employer, there's probably lots of other people that are having the same problem.
Yeah.
So we're not big enough to maybe have our own training department in-house, but we're too big to not have training either, so we thought, well, we'll build it and see what happens. So that's how it started out. And then COVID happened, and everybody in the whole world needed cleaning training. So that was something, sorry, I thought I had that silenced. That was something that we weren't expecting, obviously. So
Yeah.
we were in a very unique position when the pandemic happened, that Bright Academy was already set up and we had so many courses up and going at that stage. But it's kind
Yeah.
of morphed a wee bit again, where we're now looking at business owners, and even business owners outside the cleaning sector now as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been good. It's been definitely business has pivoted quite a lot because of COVID. And our
Yeah.
business
So
anyway, yeah.
yeah, for you and for like some of my clients, and I know some of my business, like people I know, COVID has actually made it like even better. And even for myself, I mean, I'm like, I was telling people we need to do Zoom calls instead of meeting. We need to do it before COVID. And now they all have to do it. So I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
So there is some positive. I know it's a terrible thing, and you know it is. There's
It's really strange because there's parts of our business that are really negatively affected. So like the main business, for example, people assume that you're uber busy, and within that business, there's parts of it that are very busy. But then there's other parts of it where all our staff are laid off because
yeah,
the buildings that we work in are closed down, or they've only got, maybe a tenth of the people in compared to normal. So
yeah,
there are big shifts both ways on that. So some
mhm,
parts of our business are quiet. some parts are shut down now at the minute, like the
Yeah.
cleaners and the click, for example. That side of the business is pretty much shut because of this. But overall, we're very busy. The management team are busy, but
Yeah.
not everyone is in that
And I
position.
suppose
Yeah,
that's the importance of like diversifying in business, having different strands to what you do and
yeah.
kind of having different, I suppose, ideal clients and being able to adapt when something like that happens.
Absolutely. If you think back, maybe even 5 or 6, no, probably 8 or 9 years ago now, I forget how fast time does go. But we would have been very heavily involved in the retail sector. So the majority of my clients 10 years ago were all retail clients.
Yeah.
And if that had been the case today, we would be gone. We wouldn't
Hmm.
have survived it. But the fact that we had diversified so much and we have taken on such a range of clients over the last 10 years, we're fairly insulated from it, in regards to the type of clients that we have a good spread, a good mix of clients. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been, I think it's challenging, but for us, we've been fairly insulated overall from it compared to a lot of businesses. A lot of businesses are facing the whole, I have a bricks and mortar business, and
Mhm.
how the hell do I get it online like rapidly? And that's been massively challenging for people. But good that it creates so much innovation and change.
That's it. Yeah. So
Mm.
it is. I know it's hard and stuff, but sometimes the hardest things are the best things we do. They push you to things that you should have been doing, maybe, or
Mm.
whatever. It's just the uncomfort of that outside your comfort zone bit. So, but
That's my
hopefully we'll delve
favorite
into some of
space.
that today. Yes, exactly. So tell me, outside of like all of that stuff, what do you like? So what's something you do that we wouldn't know about, or something maybe your friends and family would know you for, but other people wouldn't?
I wasn't really sure about this one, so I was kind of I was trying to ask a few of them that I would trust their honest opinion. Um, there's a few, well, definitely they all think I'm a workaholic. That's kind of that's a given. We know that
Mhm.
already. Um, I am a Disney nut. Anybody that knows me anyway well will know that.
Right.
I love Disney, very inspired by their company, follow a lot of the things they do. I study them quite a lot. Go there for research any opportunity I get. So I can't wait till this is all over so I can get on a plane again. Um,
Amazing.
what else? Yeah, well, my mum, Cassie, I have a little girl called Cassie. She's 5 coming next week. I love fitness, anything to do with
I was going to
training,
say
sport.
fitness. That's what I would have thought.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause I know I've seen you in CrossFit and places like that, so I know
yes.
that you're into that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Even
would
just,
have
I
been.
feel like for your mental health, if you are like I'm a bit like you, a bit workaholic, so you need that like 1 hour where there's nothing else but. I think I've lost you there for a wee second, or maybe I'm lost. Hold on, we'll just hold on a wee second here to get her back. Okay, I'm not too sure if she's still there. I'm just gonna get her back on here. Sorry, guys. Give us 1 second. We'll just wait for her. So basically, what I was saying was that the working with it. Yeah, hey, you're still there. You were
Phew.
turning a wee circle there for a second.
I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it was my Wi-Fi or what happened.
I'm not
Can you hear me
sure.
okay?
I can hear you perfect.
Okay.
So yeah, the working out bit just gives you that 1 hour of like not thinking about work. I think is
Yes.
that kind of what you get from it, or
Yeah, I would have kind of used fitness all throughout kind of the challenging times in our business. And just as a kind of coping mechanism, I've used fitness all the way through. Um, so I would have during the recession in 2000 and what was that, 8, 7, 8
yeah,
to 12 or thereabouts,
yeah,
I actually started teaching as well. I would have been a fitness instructor and I worked all through that time to supplement the income that I wasn't able to get from FM. So I was like thinking if I have to take another job to supplement the business or my income, and that means I'm going to have to give up the one thing that keeps me sane. How am I going to do
yeah.
this? I'm never going to cope. So I thought, right, okay, well, maybe if I try actually teaching, if I train
Hmm.
up and teach, I can earn a living while also keeping myself sane. So that's kind of where that came from initially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I carried on doing that for a long time after. Um,
Yeah, it definitely. I love it now. Katrina just said when you went there, she's away to Orlando, Katrina Moore. So
oh,
yeah,
I only wish. I
yeah,
only
I
wish.
know.
If
I
only
know.
they'd let
Soon
me
enough,
in.
hopefully. So, like with okay, you've been through your recession. You're now going through the COVID thing. You know, lots of things happen in business, even outside of those things. How do you keep your kind of your motivation, your self-belief? How do you keep yourself going?
Probably there's two things. Number one is to try and take care of, you know, the things that you can take care of. So keep your focus on the things that you can control.
Hmm.
But the most important thing for me is your mindset. It's 100%. It's top of the list without any shadow of a doubt. I would be, people think I'm completely crazy. I get up at 5 a.m. most mornings, nearly every morning actually. And I have a very solid morning routine. We do personal development reading from like quarter to six to half six or thereabouts every morning. And then I would meditate and I would exercise in the morning. Most people will see me and my mum and my daughter walking around the same
Lovely.
route for the last 20 odd years. So yeah, I have a big belief in your own mindset and how important it is to stay resilient, I suppose, to try and
Mhm.
keep yourself resilient if you can, because it can. Business can be challenging, and especially when things are not going well, it's very
Mhm.
easy to get sucked into that, how am I ever going to get out of this mentality?
Yeah.
And I was there for a while, especially around 2012. I really, really struggled with trying to keep the business open because it was financially so challenging. But it was the resilient bit that kept things on the road, and making
Mm.
sure that you just do not give up. Don't give up. Don't give up on yourself and your mindset. It's so important to keep that right.
Yeah, and I think it's like it's the kind of thing as well, you know, even when things are going good, you still need to do that stuff as well. So it's like even when you're fit, you still need to work out.
Yep.
Same with your mind. Like if, you know, I would be so bad for dipping in and out of it. I would be like up at 6, you know, reading the books, doing meditation, doing whatever, and then for months on end, I'll be like, oh yeah, I got into that routine, and then I didn't, because I'm kind of person who needs a different routine all the time, so I might do it in the evening instead, or do it, you know, but. I know that there's times where things are dipping and I'm like, what's going on? Then I'm like, oh, I'm not doing those things. You know,
Yeah.
those fundamental things that kind of keep you going.
That's one of the reasons having a mastermind group or an accountability group or accountability partner is so helpful. Because like quite
Hmm.
often we would get asked, how do you two still be walking all them years later? But she's the accountability partner, my mum. Like
Yeah, I love it.
I would not go to for my walk in the morning for fear of letting her down, and she's the same with me. And
Hmm.
then that same strategy, I suppose, is employed for the mastermind groups as well, to make sure that you have somebody else relying on you to get up in the morning. It's
Yeah,
easier to get up when you know there's somebody waiting on you to get up and get on a call, you know.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. And I suppose even just to get things done in business as well. So if you have like, okay, I said I'd do these 5 things and
yes.
someone's going to be chatting to me next week and I can either let them down or let myself
Mm-hmm.
down. Whereas I think when you become your own boss, it can be easy just to go, oh, I'll put that in the long finger because like no one's on my back saying you have to do it, you know?
Exactly. And that's something that I struggle with. I find that in our businesses, I am the bottleneck, where things get
Mhm.
stuck with me because there's nobody asking me, where is this? Why is this not done? Or if they do ask me, well, you're in charge. So if you don't do it, you don't do it kind of thing. But
Yeah,
I find when you have an accountability group or somebody there that's kind of making sure that you have somebody kicking your ass too. It's important in the
yeah.
game as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, good one. So what would you say like are mistakes that how many years are you in business now?
Oh, 27.
27 years,
Yeah.
looking great for it. For 27 years, I mean, is there any fundamental mistakes that you made that you think if I could just say this to someone who was starting or someone who's in the middle of it, you know, that
Yeah.
would really help them?
Probably don't be afraid to ask for help.
Hmm.
I would have been a very um kind of maybe proud, stubborn. There's a whole different range of words you could use probably, but I was very reluctant to ask for help down the years. And it was only through you kind of thought like you had because you were in charge, you had to know it all, and you couldn't possibly ask for help because you're supposed to be in charge and you're supposed to know what you're
Mhm.
doing. Um, so I probably struggled with that for a long time, not asking for help when I could have asked for help. And then I went and done the master's back in 2012, and that kind of opened my eyes to education and the fact that I didn't know everything. So definitely my confidence took a really bad knock during that process, where I started off kind of thinking I knew more than I did. And then you get to the realization where you didn't actually know a whole lot. And then
Yeah.
your confidence goes away down because for every decision you make, you're trying to weigh off all these options that you didn't even comprehend before. So it
Hmm.
took me longer to make decisions, and I was probably less decisive. But I suppose on the back of that, when all that passed and I finished that process, my confidence came back up again, and I was in a much better space as regards my own awareness of
Yeah.
the different types of skills that I could employ when I needed, and that I could ask for help, and it wasn't a horrendous thing to ask for help. So that was probably the big one, ask for help. The other thing would be if you, particularly around teams and around people, and I'm bearing in mind what we're potentially going into in the next year or so with financial strains on businesses and everything else. If it's a case that you have decisions to make, tough decisions to make, don't wait to make them. I definitely prolonged or exposure to the 2008 recession because I didn't take action early enough. And we've kind of come up with this theory now, or we talk about this theory about the buffalo and the cow. So if you consider a storm coming in, the cow will just wander along with the storm, and in essence, they'll take a long time for this to get through this stormy period, whereas the buffalo will run straight towards it, and they will actually go straight through it at high speed. And that exposes them for a much shorter period of time to that uncertainty or and that's something that I 100% can agree with, because we went in the recession, we kind of buried our head, or I buried my head in the sand a wee bit about we'll try and keep, for example, our management team together, and I didn't want to break up that team that we had built up.
Hmm.
And in essence, what we did was we exposed ourselves to negative pressures for far too long, and ultimately we had to make those decisions anyway.
Yeah.
Whereas I knew early on that I probably would need to make them, and I didn't take action early enough. So I think the lesson from that for me and for anybody else facing into a difficult period at the minute is take a good, objective, cold, hard look at your business, take your emotions out of the equation, and if you need to make tough decisions, get them made early, and you will recover quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The worst thing in business is indecision, I think,
yeah,
so you're not moving forward if you're not deciding one way or another. And
aye,
there's always another way to pivot or another way to pivot, even if the decision wasn't 100% right, but the worst decision is not to make one.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Okay, great. So where do you see this in and 5 years is so long. So, but if you've got a 5 year plan, but even like a year or 2 years, or is it
we
hard to look at that now?
Well, I suppose from my perspective, we're kind of looking 5 years down the line and saying, right, okay, well, how much will we have recovered from a year or 2 years? Because that looks not so good at the moment. The
Yeah.
year or 2 years out probably doesn't look too good. But what we are hoping to do, I suppose, is particularly with Bright Academy, is look at how we can diversify a lot of what we know and deliver those products online. We're looking at helping businesses that are in this sector to grow and scale, or move maybe from the residential market to the commercial market. Or the other thing we're launching actually next January is like a female leadership academy. So for
Cool.
people who are in their own business and they want to maybe take that jump on, like being their own boss to being an employer, because that's
Mhm.
probably, we recognize from coaching other businesses, that's the one piece that really holds people back from growth, is the fear of being in charge of other people. you know and that's something that our company, I suppose, has a lot of experience of, so we want to be able to help people in that regard. So in 5 years time, I suppose I would love to be still leading the team of people that we have. We've some fantastic people there growing really good businesses. And I suppose my job is to empower them to do that, to help that team grow their teams more. So hopefully we're still there and still strong at that stage.
Very good. And going online, I heard you say, so maybe
Yeah,
delivering stuff online. Yeah. So
yeah,
it is the way to go. But I think I would love to go back to blended as well. A little bit of online to save time, but then actually meeting people. Because I would have been pushing for online, but now that I have to be as well, I'm kind of like, oh, I kind of miss being in a room of people and
yeah,
getting that atmosphere and, like a networking room or even speaking or workshops. Like it's so
yeah.
different when you can feed off the energy of a room.
100%, yeah. I
Yeah.
definitely, I've done a huge amount of training in the period between kind of the first lockdown and now. And I know there was days that your eyes would be going square because you were
Hmm.
on Zoom all day long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree. I think some form of blended learning, and from our perspective for the skills training side of it, from cleaning skills, it's a very tangible thing. You can watch somebody go through the process online of, actually surface cleaning correctly online, but when you go and actually physically observe that and watch and see, is it actually clean? And it's very hard to do that online.
Yeah.
So we're looking at ways through virtual reality and stuff of how can we actually deliver this training and actually see if it's a case that the building is clean when they're finished, not just that they kind of can go through the motions of cleaning. Like you can wash a floor or you can clean a floor.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so from our perspective, it's a wee bit more difficult to get the results side of it online. But yeah, so definitely we're looking at putting more and more of our knowledge, I suppose, in that sense, in the
Very good.
online space. Yeah,
Yeah, virtual reality, that's so crazy that you would be doing things like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
mental. I actually used to be a cleaner myself, in Australia. We did it for
I
like, yeah. I'd say I washed the floor, I'd say I didn't clean it, to be honest with you. I don't know how we used to clean houses, but
yeah,
we had
good
to get up
stuff.
in the morning and then at night time we'd clean offices. With three jobs at the one time, so you know
Yeah.
yourself the way you always do it. Okay, so like, so if all that was there, and what would like success look to you, or happiness? What does happiness look like to you?
Um, mm, I suppose on a personal level, it's around having freedom. For me,
Hmm.
anyway, it's around having freedom to, go take Cassie to school and pick her up, and when she's on holidays, to be able to go and travel. I really appreciate my freedom, and being a business owner gives me that freedom. It didn't always, at the early stages of my business, I was tied to the business 100 hours a week. Whereas now
Hmm.
that we have really good systems in place and we have a good management team there, I have much more freedom now to do the things that I choose to do. Not I'm
Yeah.
not stuck in the operational side of it all the time.
And I
So
think that's actually an important bit, that like it is freedom on your own business, but you have to work towards the freedom. You have to
absolutely,
learn how
yeah.
that, because I'm the same. I'd work like I don't know how many hours, and now I feel much more in control of it. But it doesn't. You don't start your own business and go, "Oh, this is amazing. I'll just sit back."
Oh
You
God,
have
no.
to get there.
There's like, do you know that hill at the start of a roller coaster?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like that at the beginning.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
But
still, even when you get to the top, you're kind of like, oh, like, okay, I've got them today, but tomorrow, I don't know. Yeah,
yeah,
so it's completely like that. Yeah, so it's a good point, definitely. Sorry, go ahead.
that's something around. You're okay. You're fine. That's something around the mindset side of being in business as well. It can be challenging for people that
Mhm.
have come from maybe a space of employment, where they're used to having a constant paycheck all the time and all of that sort of stuff. I know definitely it's something that a lot of the people we coach struggle with, is the fact that their income will be inconsistent. In the early stages, there's some months you might not get paid, and then there's other
Mhm.
months you'll be like, woohoo, lotto! It's about managing that process as
Mhm.
well. Yeah.
I know there's so much to it that you just don't think, and it is. I feel like it's. Someone described it to me one time, like oh, what do you call that thing you get in Harvard? It's like a degree, like an MBA.
Oh yeah.
It's like running your business is like that. It's like you learn personal development, you learn
Hmm.
skills, you learn everything, but it teaches you like by doing. I learned everything. I literally finished on a Friday, started outside the box on a Monday, and that was me. But I learned as I went. Do you know, that kind of way? And it was
Yeah.
kind of like it was the best way to learn as well. I know I made all the mistakes of the world, but
You
it
make
made
them
me
anyway.
stronger.
You make them anyway. Like no
Yeah,
matter. I don't care if you've come in from secondary school into your own business, or you finished with a master's or a doctorate and come into your own business. There is no experience like running a business and having challenges of clients and challenges of staff, and suppliers letting you down, and all of these things, like your internet going out when you're in the middle of a webinar. All of these things that challenge you and make you there's nothing that can prepare you for all that stuff. You've got to go
Yeah.
through it. And that's the wonderful thing about businesses. It builds up such a resilience in you, and it builds up such an experience in you that can't be given by book learning as such. Although book
Yeah.
learning is valuable too, don't get me wrong, but there's no experience like the real life one.
Yeah. Speaking of books as well, I meant to say to you when you said it, what like books would you recommend that you're reading at the minute or anything like that you're reading this in the morning time?
Mm. At the minute, I'm reading. There's a group of us that have a reading group in the morning. Power of Imagination by Neville Goddard.
Cool.
That's his complete works, kind of thing. And it's a book I put off reading for a long time because I thought it was a bit, I kind of looked at it and I was like, it's a bit religious looking. That's not really me, but it's actually not. It's more spiritual, understanding, the power within us and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really interesting book. A staple of mine is Think and Grow Rich. I love
Yeah.
that book. And the other one I'm reading is actually down here. Hold on. Ugh. This one is
Be your own. Be our best. Sorry, it's backwards.
Oh, sorry. It's Customer Service by Disney. Surprise.
Oh, very good, very good.
So
yeah, they're known for it, aren't they? That they're obviously like they have it down to a T.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people that's what I love about online as well, and books. I mean, you don't actually have to go and travel and go to seminars. Like you can get all this while you should as well,
Yeah.
but you can get this from the comfort of your own home as well. So
I adore the Audible app.
So do I.
Oh my God. I literally, when you look at they do that thing on your iPhone where they show you the usage every day of all of your stuff. My usage is just like audiobooks all the time.
Yeah.
On there all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I love it as well, and I mix between like the motivational business stuff, and then like I'm listening to Harry Potter the next time, just kind of to like let my brain go down as well, kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have loads. I must share my Audible list with you, and share me yours as well, just because I'm always looking for a good one. I actually just downloaded Matthew McConaughey's book.
Oh, okay.
It's like he goes off into the desert or something and does like spiritual stuff. I don't even know, but I just love his voice. So I was like, well, this will be nice to listen to. But it sounds pretty motivational as well, so must see what it's like.
He is though. He's one of those speakers that you could listen to him all day. It helps that he sounds as good as he looks.
Yeah, definitely. I could use a video book with him. I think that'll be good. I'll do the Audible for now. Okay, so but we're nearly at the end here, believe it or not, 30 minutes. But like, what's the best piece of advice you've lived by or you've got?
Oh, I think probably it's maybe not something necessarily that somebody I know has said to me. It's like do what you love. That's without any hesitation. I think it might have been Steve Jobs, maybe, that I had
Not
said
even
that.
sure.
Yeah, I think it might have been. I'm not sure. It might have been Steve Jobs.
I think it was actually, sorry. Yeah, because he does a whole speech. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, at the Stanford graduation or something. I
Yeah.
think it was. Yeah. So that speech and that, find something you love to do is so important. I think especially when you're in business, there will be challenging times and there is uncertainty and there is things like that. And you've got to love what you do. You have to be getting up in the morning and, one thing I can honestly say is apart from the times when it was exceptionally challenging financially, I have never got up in the morning and dreaded going to work. I love what I do. I would do it for free, no problem. So it's definitely something that if you're going to go into your business, make sure that it's something that you're passionate about, because that passion will help you through the times when it's a bit more challenging, I suppose.
Yeah, Definitely. And I think, when you were talking earlier about like getting help and stuff, the parts of my business, the parts of the business I love are coming up with ideas and marketing and all that stuff. But the
Yeah,
parts I don't like admin or invoicing, you can outsource those things and get help with them as well, so
yeah.
you can concentrate on what you really, really love, and then you're the best at that. So let other people do what they're the best at as well. That's something I learned. So it's
Stay in your
okay.
zone of genius. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, completely,
Yeah.
completely.
It's just a
Okay,
shame
so
my zone of genius wasn't in Florida, looking at Disney.
well, could be. You could take it over there. Okay, so I have two more questions for you just before
Sure.
we finish up. What is a funny thing or the funniest thing that's happened to you recently?
You're gonna die when you hear this. Because
Okay.
my friends and anyone that knows me well knows that I'm not the best timekeeper in the world and that
Okay.
I have been known to be late for the odd thing, okay? So I was sitting there yesterday, 2:15, all organized, all ready to go, like a day early. I
Oh,
was sitting there going, I went on to your stories and you were out walking, and I was like, why is Em out walking? And then I looked at
oh
my
my God.
calendar and I looked at the post and I was like, I had up Wednesday and you had up Thursday. So I was a
Oh,
whole day early, and I was
oh
so
my God.
out of all of the out of all of the things that could have happened, I was like, I'm so grateful that I was a day early and not a day late
Yeah. So
because it
you were
has.
super prepared.
Oh my God. But that's, yeah, that's kind of
Oh my
the
God.
random
Thank
thing that
you.
will happen to me. Mhm.
That's the kind of thing that would happen to me as well. Or I'd show up somewhere and be like, oh, I'm not actually meant to be here yet completely. I think it's when you've so much going on in
Yeah,
your head. Like I've started, like everything goes into my phone, everything goes into a piece of paper beside me. That's the start of my day. Like exactly everything I have to do, including eating, including running. Like I
yeah,
literally put everything in because I'm not the kind of person that remembers everything off the top of my head. So you
yeah,
come up with strategies, don't you? But
yeah, for
that's
sure.
funny. He's sitting there ready, probably thinking, God,
I was there
she's
already and everything going, where is Emma?
out running.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't going to do it from right there. Okay, well, that's great. So you're doubly ready for it. Well, thank you so much for
you're
today. It was
very
really,
welcome.
really interesting. Before I leave, do you have like anything you want to tell us about, anything upcoming that you want to promote or anything like that?
Actually, yeah, well, I mentioned earlier on that we're going to be launching the female leadership program. So essentially, it's for people who are maybe thinking about going into business and they're not sure they want to take that step because they're not sure they want to be in charge of people or grow teams or whatever, or else maybe they're in business already and their growth is at that point where they're not sure do they move forward or not because of they don't know the systems that they need to put in place to hire people or manage people or performance appraisals, all that sort of stuff. So
Great.
we're actually opening a beta for that. So if there's anybody interested in that, if they want to give me a message on here, and I can shoot them through the information. But we're running a beta program from now until Christmas.
Great.
Yeah. So
And I'm sure people have time to do that now as well. It's like because maybe they're not as busy, they're not, it might be a great time to kind of get into something like that.
maybe, yeah, yeah.
Pivot, yeah. Great, amazing.
So
Well, thank you so much, Annette. I will share your little or your link to your FM page and your own page as well if anybody
sure,
wants to ask her any questions or whatever, or about that course as well. Sounds amazing.
sure, no
And
problem.
this will be on
Thank
YouTube and Facebook and everywhere else, so you can
no.
watch it again.
Thank you so much for inviting me on. It's lovely to be on. I'm so inspired by you as well.
Oh,
So
thank you.
the fact that you've come out and you've gone straight head first into business, I love that bravery. Well done.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah,
always say it scared me more not to do it,
yeah,
Like it scared me to do it a little bit, but more so like if I don't do this, what will my life be like?
yeah,
So I don't know if
yeah.
it was bravery or stupidity or just not thinking about what was happening.
No, I think it's a very brave thing to do. And when you like quite often I would get messages from people going, "Oh, I would love to have my own business and I just don't know." And that's kind of what's inspired us to do the work that we're doing now.
Hmm.
Because it's something that I know there's loads of people out there that maybe would love to take that step, that they see themselves running their own business in whatever field it is, but there's that self-belief or that maybe apprehension that's just holding them back a wee bit. And I think that once you can get that figured out and you can take those steps, the confidence comes and the
Yeah.
systems come and all of the skills, that's fine, that'll come, but it's just the
Mm-hmm.
mindset part, and the getting over that self-confidence part.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is. I think it's a very brave thing to do. So yeah,
Oh, thanks.
kudos to you too.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, brilliant. Well, have a great day, and we'll speak to you soon.
Sure. Thanks a
All
million,
right.
Anna. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.